He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, for the last hour and 52 minutes of this live radio show today, we are simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv with the video clips, a live feed of the show, and a lot more. We're taking lots of your phone calls. 1-800-259-9231 gets you up and on the air. Got a news blitz coming up as well, and some breaking news dealing with all these secret federal reports that have been sent to us and others and are being leaked out by well-meaning police officers and military people trying to expose this tyranny, but the media is hyping it and using it, these leaks, to their own ends to create a chilling effect against free speech. Some new big developments on that front coming up. But right now, your phone calls. Another call from Illinois. Steve in Chicago. You're on the air, Steve.
It rains, it pours. Alex, couple of sides. Number one, did you see the article that Germany banned the mono 810 corn from Monsanto? They won't allow it?
I have Der Spiegel here. Germany bans cultivation of GM corn because the studies we covered 3 years ago from China, Japan, India, Germany, the UK, the BT corn grows its own pesticide inside the corn at thousands of times what the chemical normally occurs in the corn. The bees, unlike other species of insect, will still eat it, and then it's killing them, much less what's happening to the humans, and so that is some good news.
Right. And the other thing is, Governor Blagojevich, he might be willing to come on your show. The reason why I called up was about Moron D's and Mark Popotuk at the Screwball Poverty Law Center. You know, they don't talk anything about the 4 dead cops that preceded in Oakland, actually, that preceded these 3 deaths of the policemen in New York. It seems to me that anybody they define as like a terrorist can't be somebody like Mad Bomber Harris, Bill Ayers, coupled with Ulrika Meinhof, Bernadine Dorn, Red Army faction, the Symbionese Liberation Army.
No, that's right. When the left and then other groups shoot police, they do not ever put the race in the news. You have to read court filings about that. But God forbid a white guy shoot cops. They don't just hype it up. They then try to connect it to me when the white supremacist was attacking me on websites. Morris Dees, within hours, fed that to the local papers. The police gave them access to the alleged cop killer's internet searches, hundreds of sites, CNN, Fox, it's all been released now. He goes to my site, attacks me, and Morris Dees wanted to then come out and say that basically I had him kill the cop. And now that's been, of course, repudiated and retracted, and Raw Story, Daily Kos, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. But is this not an example of how these people operate?
Yes, and, you know, they had the unmitigated gall in Oakland to have an Uhuru movement. It's some kind of black liberation movement. And after this guy had killed the 4 cops, they went out and they honored this gangster that mowed down 4 policemen trying to do their job.
I saw that. Can you imagine if the scumbag white supremacist would have gone out and honored this guy that shot the 3 cops? What big news that would be. But then in Oakland, they honored the cop killer, and the news is mom. Thank you so much for the call. It's incredible, folks. You know, what's happening in this society. Let's go ahead and take another call here. Let's talk to John in Michigan. John, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. All my respect to who you are, what you do, and how you do it. In my book, you're 10 out of 10. Greatest
Well, thank you, sir.
Ever.
I appreciate that. What's on your mind?
Well, you guys mentioned, you touched a little bit on the vitamin K shot, and I recently had a baby girl born here in Michigan, so I did quite extensive research if it's good or bad, because I knew about the vaccine, but my wife, she was like, well, vaccine is one thing, vitamin is a different thing. So I would like to share that information, which is very interesting. First of all, the vitamin K shot that is state mandate here in Michigan has 3 cancer-causing ingredients. And even if you read the manufacturer explanation, they do clarify that sudden death is a normal consequence of taking the vitamin K shot.
No, it does. It's a huge shot of a vitamin claiming it helps the baby's blood clot. I mean, the baby's born the way it's supposed to be, and it is associated with killing them. But, I mean, look, they had 5 vaccines they tried to mandate 20 years ago. Now it's over 50. These companies come out with a new drug. They lobby the government to say it's mandatory when it's really not even the law. They just intimidate you into it. And then now they admit HPV, human papillomavirus, is killing all these women all over the world, admittedly killing them. And they just go, oh, that's the way it is. You know, some women are going to die. Go ahead.
No, it is already has been prohibited in Western Europe, the particular injection of vitamin K shot, because it has aluminum, it has permachloride, and it has antifreeze. Antifreeze is the third preservative in the vaccine. It is a totally bad, toxic substance that doesn't...
Oh, really? John, cue up CBS News saying that mercury is good for children's brains, because we have a crew here. I want them to hear this audio. Now, understand, we have other clips where they say lead toys are good for children. I'm not kidding. This is the New World Order, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, that's why the IQs have dropped by 20 points on average. They admit sodium fluoride brain damages you, the aluminum, the mercury. And this is what the UN wrote about, is how they would, with injections, give us chemical lobotomies. And so you give your children a series of chemical lobotomies, and that's why all they can do is watch television and hail government, is because they're brain damaged. And the GMO foods killing most of the animals they tested on and as lab rats. They don't care. They feed it to us. The human growth hormone in the milk, it's just all part of hell. And this is part of the eugenics operation of the New World Order, and people can't believe it. Can you believe they gave black men over 50 years syphilis? Can you believe they took 4,000-plus U.S. children, foster children, and radiated them to death, declassifying? Can you believe they took 500,000 women and forcibly sterilized them up until the 1980s? Can you believe the UN's funded the forced sterilization worldwide? This is who they are. Here is CBS News saying mercury is good for children's brains.
Mercury-containing vaccines may have on kids.
A life-saving device wins over-the-counter approval by the FDA.
And sick of your glasses and contact lenses? A new corrective eye surgery is approved today. Here's tonight's medical headlines with Medical Watch reporter Seema Mathur.
Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics. There have been widespread concerns that mercury-based preservatives in vaccines might impair the neurological development of children. These new studies suggest that the opposite, that the preservatives may actually be associated with improved behavior and mental performance.
And those were government-paid-for studies in conjunction with the vaccine companies. So I'm called the conspiracy theorist because I say mercury is bad for you when it's the most deadly heavy metal in the body. In every case, other heavy metals just create plaques and kill the cells they touch. The neurons, you can Google this at major universities. They have electron microscope videos of mercury in monkey brains, similar to humans, and what it does. Other heavy metals just kill the cells they touch. Mercury causes an electrochemical storm and just blast with literal explosions, electrochemical explosions. Just keeps killing and killing and killing. So it's, again, a perfect chemical lobotomy here. You won't be able to understand a police state and a government. It's just like in the children's movie, I'll use another analogy, the black hole. They land on the big government research space station. They say, oh, everybody evacuated. They're not here. And then they notice there's these people walking around in these black suits. And goes, oh, those are robots. No, they're lobotomized human android slaves. They're the crew. And that's the general public. You can't talk to them because they've been hit with chemical weapons. And then now they tell the chemical weapon victims, oh, the poison's good, mercury, good for you. In fact, John, do you have the clip where they say lead toys are good for kids from MSNBC? Yeah, we could pull that up for folks. I mean, this is, see, but the horror of it is so huge that people can't believe it, you see. Here is mainstream news telling you poison is good for your children.
About inflation, that's another interesting point because a lot of people like to say scaremonger about China, right? A lot of politicians, and I know you talk about that issue all the time. I think people should be careful what they wish for on China. You know, if China were to revalue its currency, or China is to start making, say, toys that don't have lead in them or food that isn't poisonous, their costs of production are going to go up, and that means prices at Walmart here in the United States are going to go up too. So I would say China is our greatest friend right now. They're keeping prices low, and they're keeping prices for mortgages low too.
Oh, yes, need that lead in the baby's toys. Okay, anything else, Steve? John in Michigan? I think the answer is you need more mercury shots. You know how to read drug inserts? You care about your newborn daughter and shots she's going to get? Are you some kind of crazy terrorist? I mean, you actually...
When you ask a question, sir, the answer you get, it's a state mandate, and that's the answer you get in the hospital. Okay?
And a mandate is not a law. A mandate is not a law. It's I'm a fluoride head who's had a lot of injections. I can't think. I'm going to call the cops on you if you say no. Well, what's the law? I'm going to call people with guns.
The fluoride, very interesting about the fluoride. I came from East Europe like 15 years ago, and back in the times, 1988, 1989, when the communism collapsed, and basically there wasn't any infrastructure, any economy, there wasn't any food in the stores. The only thing that was